Lockout. 8th inning, 10-3. Bases are loaded for Verlander, who waits on a 3-0 pitch. He swings, and it's a high fly ball, deep center field. It is gone! Home run! And a huge bat flip to celebrate. All right, Ben, start the show already.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Flippin' Bats, a holiday special episode, and we have the perfect guest for you. 5-time MLB All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove winner. He's an absolute stud of a player and a human being. I'm happy to bring in Adam Jones. Adam, thank you so much for joining me, man.
No worries. Ho, ho,
ho. Look, we got a lot to get to. Obviously, your career, the state of Major League Baseball right now, and the lockout.
Yeah.
But what I want to start with, because one, I follow you on social media. You're a great follow. But I saw recently that you were in the Maldives and got a splinter in your foot that looked like the size of my finger, Adam. It was enormous. What in the world happened there?
I just, my wife tells me all the time, pick up your feet. I just drag my feet, and on this wood, I don't know what it was, but I just felt it go in. I was like, ouch. And I just like, I looked down there, I'm like, oh man. And I just called the resort and said, I got a splinter in my foot. And the lady came and she basically performed a little surgery on the back of my foot, sliced it open, and then pulled it out. And then I was just like, damn, this thing is huge. And yeah, it was a firm stick. It's a firm little fella. So I just started to wear my sandals and pick my feet up a little bit more. I think that's the
issue. It sounds like your wife is the smart one, the one that runs the bunch here. And I know she's a huge fan of traveling and a big world traveler. How much of an influence has she had on your life when it comes to travel, when it comes to, how much you see the world? How much of an influence has she had on you there?
Well, I mean, amazing. Just tremendous amount of respect for her and for just her mind opening up to the travel. She was able to live in Paris when she was very young. Our kids age 7, 5 years old, like her and her brother were. And she just, once we went to Japan, it's like, well, damn, we've unlocked a different culture, a different country. There's so much over here to do. Everybody wants to do St. Lucia, Mexico, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But the stuff that it opens your mind up to when you go over to the other side of the world is there's so many just beautiful resorts. Now, some are going to be expensive, obviously. Our budget will be a tad bit different than everyone else's. There's some people more, some people less. But she just knows what she's doing, and she's willing to risk. Like, I think this is going to be good. Reads the reviews and all that stuff, and she set up some great trips for not just myself, but for my friends of mine and then other clients. And it's Axis Travel, and she's just doing her thing, and it's fun because like now that if I'm not playing or something, she's like, yeah, let's go try this hotel out. If we had an off day, let's go try this hotel out in Kyoto or some other city, and willing to let's try it. And we went on different trips in Japan, and it was just everything was just top notch. So she's ready to plan the rest of my life. I see that.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I know. Let's transition to your career, and I mentioned it off the top. Obviously, extremely successful in the major leagues, mostly with the Orioles, but came up with the Mariners and ended with the D-backs and 5-time All-Star. I mean, obviously, the accolades go on. But after the 2019 season, Adam, you decided to sign a contract in Japan.
Right.
One, how hard was that decision for you? What went into that decision, and why did you decide to take your career over to Japan?
Well, first off, I decided to go because the opportunity became real. It started off as a 1-year contract, and they came back and said, we'll guarantee you 2 years. And that just, is like something that you just can't turn down because, coming off the 2018 season, I didn't sign until March 23rd or March 13th of 19. And I'm like, damn, how did I get a job this early or something? Why am I waiting? Why did other people get this? And I'm just wondering, like, what's going on? So I was like, you know what, let me take after that sign, had a great year in Arizona. It was a fun time. And I just was like, you know what, if it ends up like next year, free agent or last year's free agency, will I have the same opportunity? Will I sign or not have a job? And some people are just forced to just, stay in shape and all that. I was like, let's go to Japan. My wife was very, very encouraging for it. She's like, oh man, it's right in your face. Like, let's go to Japan and let's go enjoy living in Japan. And I think once we did that, it just sparked open all the possibilities of traveling and seeing a different world and kids going into a worldly school. And it brought her to her being that age and she just remembering being in Paris and just the small things. And so it's like, let's give our kids that opportunity. And, I had a great time over in Japan, eating all the food, traveling, meeting new teammates, learning the barrier, learning the culture. But at the same time, before all that, it was very hard to sign over there because I just felt that I've done enough in the game that I've proven that I've been a healthy player, good teammate. And I was just like, damn, I really, can't get no job, and I'm just like, well, I'm going to do what I got to do if I want to play. This is the play that I have to make.
Right.
But it's still like, damn, I know I can still play at this level. But I just was like, it was a tough decision, but I just took it into my own hands. And most players don't get to do that. I seen Justin Smoke came over, as being an older veteran guy who's made a good amount of money, had some success. And, he was unable to have his family. I was able to have my family. So it was awesome. It's like being in the military, going out for some duty, to be honest with you.
At any point when you first sign over there, when you first get over there, was there any point when you were like, oh God, what did I get myself into here? Or was it kind of smooth sailing the second you got there?
No, it was a culture shock on every level in terms of clubhouses, equipment, travel, fields, and just everything. It just was not the same.
Yeah.
And from being 13 years straight in the major leagues to coming to Japan, it was not the same. But, I embraced it. I said, look, I signed over here. I can suck it up. I can have some fun with these guys, and my kids enjoyed it. So I sucked it up. And if you know anybody that came over to Japan, they will tell you that the amenities are not the same. But at the same time, it's like, why not adapt? Why not, I'm here. Why not just enjoy the culture, have my feet hang off the bed on the road, just maybe curl up a little bit more. But just embrace it. And I just embraced it. Me and my interpreter, who's an older guy, he was telling me, it's like, man, you handled coming over here better than anybody, even the young guys who need the money. And I'm like, because I just know that I can just embrace the culture. And, we had a good time there. And if you've been to Japan, the food, I'm telling you, brother, you follow my Instagram. Oh, yeah. And I haven't even posted all of it. I just post some of it. Oh, beyond amazing.
Were you surprised at how much the Japanese people and culture love baseball? It seems to be next level how much they love baseball over there.
Beyond. And it really, it was awesome. When I first landed there was, I can't imagine, give you a detailed number, but I just said a few hundred, few thousand maybe people. And it's like a press conference at the airport and the backside of it. I'm like, dang, I feel like Michael Jackson coming out here or something like that, or just like wow. And then we had spring training, so 2 weeks into spring training, fans every day. I was able to sign a lot of autographs, and then bam, COVID stopped everything. We were able to practice, but it stopped all the fans. So I'm 2 weeks into it, and then bam, all the fans are stopped. I can't do anything with the fans anymore. And the rules of the team, you can't sign, you can't do this. And that part sucked because I was over there to experience all of it. And I was able to do that for 2 weeks, and then dang, it went down. And then I was able to experience the coolest part of having the fans back after August of this year. Once we started the playoffs and all that kind of stuff, we were able to have 85%. So I got to experience a little bit of it, but I wish I was able to experience it for 2 straight years.
Yeah.
I think that's the only part that really sucked about that is I wanted to just all the banging of the noise. They make so much damn noise. I'm like, damn. Every hitter, y'all don't shut up. Every hitter, they have like different shirts and different like it's like each person brings 5 or 6 things for their favorite players. I'm like, just a banner, somebody's hitting, wave this. Next guy, oh, flip this, go through that. Oh, okay, this one comes up. Next guy, this one. I'm like,
that's incredible.
This is it's weird, but they love baseball, and I just wish that I got to experience it every day. But I got to experience it at the beginning and the end, so I think that was pretty cool.
You know, one of the cool things for me, and anybody that doesn't follow you on socials needs to, and one of the coolest things for me is watching your journey. I could basically see you adapting to the culture as you went on. And one of the coolest things for me was towards the end, watching you do an interview in Japanese. And I literally was just smiling watching you do it. Like that is so cool. But are you fluent in Japanese?
I'm not, but my interpreter was really cool, older guy. And since I wasn't an everyday player, I got to spend a lot of time with him in the clubhouse and on the bench and all in the cages and all that kind of stuff. And I just asked them questions all the time and how to say things. And I would talk to the Japanese, and they would, we would try to converse all the time. And there was times, towards the end of the season, I tried to, if I was taking ground balls, I took infield all the time at third base because I wasn't playing defense. So I just was out there having fun, but I would tell him to go work with another player and let me just, be able to do the situations from my own personal knowledge. And I was able to hold my own, in terms of just understanding the baseball culture and understanding just, some of the social sayings that they say. And, it makes sense to, why not? If I'm there for 2 years, why not just try and embrace it and learn something? I mean, I don't know if Japanese is going to be a big part of my life going forward, but to learn it, my kids understand it, and they have those Japanese reactions and stuff like that. And stuff, I'm like, what? They're starting to have like Japanese reactions. And I'm like, what's going on, man? Like that is what? But it was an awesome 2 years. Obviously, they didn't pick up my option, so I'm a free agent, and let's see what goes from here. I'm not impressed in any way, shape, or form. I just think I just need to rest. I'm tired. I don't know if your brother feel that way because he still keep going. He got a motor. I'm tired.
I don't know how he wants to go until he's 45, man.
Why not? If you can, why not?
That's true. One thing I thought was really cool, and I heard this recently. You got a new nickname over there, Mr. Thanksgiving. Where does that come from? What is that? Do you know anything about that?
I mean, well, I hit the home run in Game 5 to send it to Game 6. I think I hit it on Thanksgiving night.
I think
that's Thanksgiving night in America.
I saw this, and it was, they called it the turkey shot because you hit this home run on Thanksgiving night in America, and I love that, the turkey shot. Walk me through the turkey shot.
Well, I mean, I think the only people that I could hit over in Japan were the Americans. I couldn't hit the forkball to save my life. Oh man, I tried to. I couldn't hit the forkball. I rolled over, fell off my foot, pop it up. I couldn't hit the forkball to save my life. Oh my goodness. I walk back and just be like, either I ground out or off that or pop up. But you give me the American guys, I can hit them. I don't know why. I can hit them. I see them great. It made me comfortable. So, my role pinch hitting is to be ready. And, once we went to their park, it's National League rules. So the pitcher hits. So, you got to be ready for any situation, especially after like the 5th inning. And, ready, top 9, got me 95, 96, 2-0, and I didn't miss it.
That's your wheelhouse, man. You need that upper 90s.
Oh, right there. Yeah. I can hit 95, 96. I don't care velocity. It's that forkball. I can't hit this on bitch. I can't. I just can't. But, I just got on top of it. And, the coolest part, though, is that my wife and my kids, they were at the game and they were jumping around. I got all these different videos from friends that were at the game and they jumping around and stuff like that. And like that is like, if that's the last swing of my career, That was the sickest swing in my career. And, it's about the experiences. Again, you get to share these places. Wife, kids get to have went to the Tokyo Dome. Like, who's done that, bro?
That's so cool, man. Yeah, a lot of people are calling that the turkey shot heard around the world. I don't know if I am. I'll start making that stick. It's got to. It's too cool not to.
I like it. I like it.
Hey, so I like to ask people this because everybody seems to, when you touch home plate after a home run, a lot of guys do a different thing. And there's typically a meaning behind it, but not a lot of people know the meaning behind it. I know you like to double tap the shoulder. What is that for? What's the meaning behind that?
Well, it was my first 2 tattoos of my grandmother and my mother. So just, I think I started doing the minor leagues, and it just stuck. Just double tap my shoulder and hit home plate.
That's cool. Were they how influential were they
simple.
growing up?
Oh, very. Taught me to be myself, and just be responsible and
That's cool.
take care of your own, take care of your people. And like Marshawn Lynch say, take care of your chicken, and, and just be yourself. And she's raised 2 good kids, me and my brother, and we just try to be very responsible men and take care of our families. That's very simple.
That's cool.
Just got a cool job. I'm not different than anybody else. I just got a cool job.
A really cool job, and now you're out there hitting turkey shots heard around the world. Hey, so one thing I read that you said they do the playoffs a little different over there, where the higher seed is like up a game going into the playoffs or something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah. So first off, since we finished first in our side, we had the bye. So we had to wait to the second round. And in the second round, we played the team out of the best of 3. So, and our series would be a best of 7, but we started 1-0. So if we won game 2, we're up 2-0.
Oh, wow. I like that.
Exactly. We had to win 3. They had to win 4. And, we won all 3 straight. And then in the finals, it was 2-3-2. And the thing is all 7 games would have been at our home park. So it's like, I see why SoftBank wins. They finish first and then they play all the games at their park. Like, duh. That's why they beat everybody. That's why they won like 7 out of the last 10 or 11 championships, because they just play at home. Makes total sense.
Would you like to see any of that adapted over here with how they handle the structure for their playoffs?
Only if they add more teams, you can add a different structure. I see how the NFL this year added a top seed. I see how, and I know how it was annoying for a lot of people that the Dodgers and the Giants finishing with, 108 and 106 wins. They had to play each other in a wild card game, opposed to the Braves and Milwaukee not winning, 80, 88 and 90 games respectively. I mean, they did what they were supposed to do, is win their division. It's not their fault that the damn West them 2 teams are so damn strong. But I see how people would want to structure that differently, as like, that's the season that the Dodgers and Giants play in the NLCS. That's what people wanted to see.
Right.
But, obviously they got, who was it? NLCS. It doesn't matter at this point. But that's what I think that what people want to see is the Dodgers and the Giants, since they had so many wins. So, I mean, if they add another team, then you can do a structure like that.
Right.
Give a team a full week rest. But again, that's all. That structure and stuff is really hard, but yet easy, but yet still difficult.
All right. So it's impossible to talk baseball in Japan without talking about the reigning AL MVP, Shohei Ohtani. And you were over in Japan while he was doing all this. One, talk about what he was able to do this year, but talk about what he means to the Japanese culture and how influential this was to them and how important him winning MVP was to the Japanese culture.
Well, first, how much does he mean to you?
Oh, baby, Adam. I don't know if you got enough time. I don't want to take too much of your time here, but great question.
No, but man, every day in the clubhouse, he was just talked about, because they broadcast all his games. Because if he's hitting, I mean, he hit majority of the time, so he was playing. His games were televised, but they also televised all Maeda, all of Kikuchi, all of Tetsugo.
That's so
basically
cool.
All the Japanese players, all their games, they were always on TV, because they have the broadcasting back here, and the players over there just kept asking me questions about American baseball, and they're like, just different questions, and I'm trying to answer them all the time and trying to help them out, tell them like how is Shohei so successful, and once he got rid of that leg kick and just realized that he's 6'5" and powerful as all hell, woo! You see what he's done. And I mean, winning MVP, obviously, he's the obvious choice. His value, his star power. I mean, he's popular right now, not just in the United States. We're talking about the whole Japan. He's everywhere in Japan, and billboards and all that stuff, in all the cities, from the south cities all the way to the north. And his star power is different. And he's just so humble about it, and it's just sweet to watch. Just when you see just nice guys just out there, he's just doing his thing. And I hope he's influencing a lot of people, a lot of these young kids that like saying, like the Hunter Greens, of coming up and saying, oh, you can only do one thing. Hell, try both if you can.
Yeah.
If they allow you to try both. And I think some teams, obviously you see a lot of pitchers that were shortstops or center fielders or first basemen, whatever, and convert. You see that at the lower levels in the minors, and they'd be like, well, yeah, he's probably not going to hit.
Right.
Let's throw him on the mound. And, but if some of these kids can do it, I mean, why stop them from doing it if they can? I mean, that's my opinion on that.
Yeah. And I wasn't even going to talk to this, but you mentioned it, and you asked, like, what does he mean to me? Hearing you say how humble he is a big reason. Obviously, he's one of the freak athletes on the planet, but how humble he is going about it is really cool. And that's why I feel like I gravitated towards him. That's honestly not to blow up your ego too much, but a big reason I'm a big fan of yours, just from following you on socials. I see that you're the same way. And I like to gravitate and put myself in, I like to cheer for people that are also very humble and good people off the field. And he certainly seems that way, and you seem that way as well. So I'm glad you said that for sure. But look, let's transition to Major League Baseball and the current state of Major League Baseball. There's a lockout, and they've been locked out since December 1st. And there's a lot of conversations going on about it. But first and foremost, if you had to put your finger on one single pressing issue, what would it be? Like, what is the biggest reason and main reason we are here right now?
I mean, being away for 2 years, there's a lot of conversations that I have not been privy to as previously. The biggest issue. That's tough. That's really tough. I know service time is one. Not being able to manipulate service time, I know, is a big issue. But to be honest, I'm not really privy to all the issues that's going on right now. I've been away, and I know that 2020 and 2021 have been difficult, especially 2020. People lost a lot of money, and so it's. I was in Japan, like it was kind of refreshing to be just away. Nobody paying attention. Nobody's seeing, Adam Jones is 0 for 4. When, no one's paying attention to that in America. They're like, Adam, you still playing? Like, I'm like, pop up like, oh, yeah, a little bit. I'm over in Japan, man. Just chilling. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of cool to just be away. Nobody worried about me. You know what I mean? Ain't no tweets that, oh, damn, he swung at that. I should have had that. There was no tweets about that. And if they were, I didn't understand it because it's Japanese. So it was, for real, it was kind of refreshing to just be away from it all.
Yeah, it was probably a good time to be away for sure from Major League Baseball. So obviously, and I think one of the big problems here is that there's really not one single pressing issue. There's like a million issues. That's kind of why we're here. To me, one of them is the competitive balance in the league. We see teams that, like the Pirates, year over year, and your former team, the Orioles, hasn't been great in a while. But what we're seeing is there's really no repercussions for being a bad team in the league. In fact, it can be beneficial to teams. What would you do to help the competitive imbalance in the league? How do we get teams more on a level playing field?
Well, I mean, obviously, winning. If winning is the first obstacle or first objective, I should say, the obstacle should be the first objective. And you see how important it is to certain owners. And it's about what owners are, I don't know all the owners' cash flow. I know that they're worth a lot of money. I don't know how much personally. I mean, you can say a net worth, that's internet, but I don't know how much money they got. I don't know what their operating costs and stuff like that really are because I'm not their accountant. But I just think that if the owner wants to win, they have the money to do so.
Right.
I believe. And I think, some might want to get richer. Some might be like, well, I can't support a high payroll here. I can't support $100 million payroll here. I know Tampa's not going to be messing around with $110 million payroll. Baltimore doesn't want to do that for the next few years. But the Yankees, they don't care.
Right.
Boston, they don't care. Toronto, you see, they don't care. The Mets, they were there sitting there with 260 right now. Yeah. They don't care, and they're still going to try and add. They just added Showalter. Showalter's going to, he knows what he's going to do, and then he's going to ask the owner that, hey, this is what you're trying to win. These are the pieces that I need, and the owner's got proven that he's got big, big, big pockets.
Yeah.
So, it depends, and I think that's a good move for him too because, he can ride off in the sunset and try hopefully get himself to a World Series, and he's got an owner that is just out there, and it's New York City. Like he wants to show, the Bronx that look at Queens is out here living too. So don't forget about us. He really don't look afraid. But I'm hoping my Padres do something else. So that's where my heart lies.
I hear you. Hey, so one of the biggest topics about all this, and this is the first time there's ever been a lockout in the social media age. So there's plenty of people online that think they know what they're talking about. And we've actually had a couple of discussions about this on Twitter and you commenting back to people. A lot of people will hear the issue with money and say, well, what do the players have to complain about? Big league minimum's $600,000. What do you complain about? Teachers make not even close to that and blah, blah, blah. What would be your answer to that? What do you say to those people that say, well, stop complaining. Teachers don't make it half that?
Well, I've always just tried to let, everybody know that when it comes to money, first off, go to the minor leagues. Those guys are making, that's where I start. That's where I would start. I always try to start there because it's like the majority of the guys are making the peanuts. You can look at the numbers of how many guys stayed in the major leagues and made the full minimum. With today's being sent up and sent down, they know how to manipulate that, and guys generally get maybe 60 to 75% of the minimum per year. So you got to go through this whole tax different things, and they be making, checks prorated of 580. Next week they can be making checks prorated of 250. It just depends on their split contracts. That's a whole nother conversation. But it's the minor leagues that people need to look at. Stop looking at the major leagues. Stop looking at the Louis Vuitton. Stop looking at all that because I know a lot of people that played in the major leagues for 3, 4, 5 years and they ain't got a dollar to save to their name. And you're like, why? How? Because it's a different life. And people always say, save your money, save your money. How many people have made this kind of money this early in life? There's a lot of people that are going to make a lot of money in life. There's a lot of people that aren't, obviously. But to be able to make this significant amount of money at 24, 25, 26 years old is something that's unfathomable. You just can't predict it because it just does not happen unless you are, a teenage pop, some rappers that make it big, entertainment that make it big. It's all entertainment world at this age. The lawyers, doctors, the artists, they don't start making money till later in their lives. So you think about how making all this money is, you should save this, you should save this. And I do agree with that. Athletes should save it. But to say that, there's some people be irresponsible, you've never had a $15,000, $20,000 check being 24 years old. Like every 2 weeks, that's what you're getting. Like, damn, 27,000 every 2 weeks. Like, damn, like you want to go and you're young, you want to go buy something. You might want to get married. Like, it just, life hits you so much faster. And I just think people need to understand that. What would you do if you were getting all that? Oh, I'd save it. No, you wouldn't. You'll have to be buying shots for everybody. You'd be taking out people for dinner. You'd be doing all different things, treating your family for, helping your mom and dad out with things that they, been struggling with. And if they have or haven't, paying off your parents. debts and all that kind of stuff, which we all have done. Which that I think that's part of the journey also. But the next year, your ass don't know if you got no job or not. But you're supposed to save and invest. It's not that easy. So I just think that people just need to understand that at the end of the day, you throw one pitch and you're done. You hit one base wrong, you break your ankle a certain way, you're done. Athletes are always one pitch, one play, one everything away from being done. And like I said, with a teacher, I love teachers. They should make more.
I agree.
That's another problem.
One problem doesn't mean another one doesn't. Exactly. Exactly.
That's a governmental problem.
I think you made a good point. And to me, it's you got to make your money while you can. And the life of an athlete isn't long at all. And you look at baseball, and I know this better than anybody, Adam. I spent 5 years in the minor leagues, one phone call away from being a big leaguer, and I made $6,000 a year for 5 years. And people don't understand that. And then you get to the big leagues where if you get to the big leagues, your lifespan is short. You got to make money, and it's an entertainment business. I think that makes all the sense in the world. Look, you're grinding your ass off for years. The second you make it, you better make some money because it's a short lifespan, and you've dedicated your entire life to this. So make your money when you can.
And have you seen in the last 2 weeks how many people have signed back in Japan and signed in Korea? So many people have. And you're going over there, Korea, they guarantee you $1 million. That's the top that they can pay a foreign guy for the first year. And that person going over there trying to make $1 million, he definitely ain't gonna make that in the major leagues, even if he stays up all year, because the minimum's $580. And he's gonna go over there and potentially make a lot of money. There's a lot of people that have went over to Japan and made $20, $30, $50 million.
Yeah.
And hey, buy your own damn benefits plan, buy your own retirement. You don't need the major league pension. You got your own pension at that point. So I see why people be 26, 27. They're eager to get over to Japan because clock's ticking. It's time to make some money. You probably time to get married. You want some kids, and that's the perfect window if you can make as much money as you can. And I've seen some guys come over here and just make some money. And hey, Major League Baseball is amazing, but if you need to make some money and you have the opportunity, tell your agents to hit up Japan, hit up Taiwan, hit up Korea. There's real money to be made and great experiences to be experienced. And some people, don't shy away from it. Just go experience it and make some real money. Damn, they pay for everything over there.
Yeah. Some questions about the start of your career, and it made me think of it because I said, baseball athletes are dedicating their whole lives to a sport. Well, you didn't, and you didn't start playing baseball until you were 12 years old. You were big into basketball, big into football, and by my understanding, didn't play baseball until you were 12 years old. Is that true?
Yeah, I didn't pick it up every day. I was playing neighborhood baseball, when they called for like rec leagues and stuff like that. But once I turned 12, it was like something just said baseball. I don't know what it was. My parents got me this net in the back that had like the little pitching target. I throw it off that thing all the time, and then it just took off from there. I started watching every Padres game. I started just focusing on just baseball, and it was crazy because in the late 90s, the Orioles were always on Wednesday night baseball, Sunday night baseball. They always had all the primetime games, and years later, I'm ended up playing for them. So it's kind of like, damn, I'm playing for. I zapped myself into the future from what I was watching.
That's so cool.
And it was on from there. Now I'm tired. I'm tired of stretching. I'm tired of hitting batting practice. I'm tired of ground balls. I'm tired of running. I'm tired of cutoff mans. I'm tired of relays. I'm tired of signs. I'm tired of bunts. I'm tired of hitting behind the runners. I'm tired of all of the squeeze play. I'm tired of everything. I'm tired of infield fly rule, out of the box. I'm tired of every single thing.
Well, if you had been able to tell 12-year-old Adam Jones that you'd be here at this point, tired of it, I think he'd be pretty happy and pretty proud of himself. So that's pretty cool. And then you go on, Adam, to get drafted in the first round by the Mariners as a pitcher, correct?
Yeah.
You were Shohei Ohtani before Shohei Ohtani, but you had to make a decision to not.
my draft had some studs, man. Some two-way studs. JoJo Reyes was a stud two-way coming out of high school too. But yeah, I was 92, 95 on the mound.
Woo!
And the Mariners, said, they were asking me, what do you want to do? And I said, I would love to play shortstop and hit. And if I can't hit, then, hopefully my arm is good. Put me on the mound. I'll keep my arm in shape. If you want to put me on like a throwing program for that too. And they did. And, we never talked about hitting. We never talked about pitching again. They decided to put me in center field 2 years later. And, I think that was the best move ever. My old coach, Wayne Kirby, said if I stayed playing shortstop, I would have been the shortstop at Mexico. So he said that Bill Bavasi, I say Bill Bavasi I should thank him and send him a pool table or some very nice gift because he made the best decision for my career, moved me to center field. And I think it was. Obviously it was the best decision. Go out there and he said, "Hey man, just hit the cutoff man, catch the ball, and think about hitting." Okay.
Yeah. I say it worked out too.
So when I went out to center field, it's like, all right, ball's hit to me, catch it, throw it back in, and then think about hitting. That's kind of what I did.
Yeah, and it worked out. A lot of Gold Gloves later, good career later. Hey, I can't have you on without talking to you about this, and it's a hard memory in my life, man. The 2014 ALDS. You're going up against my brother, Max Scherzer, Rick Porcello, David Price, Anibal Sanchez. You guys were not supposed to win that series as the Baltimore Orioles, and you swept. No. And the one memory I have in my mind that is burned into my retinas is the Delman Young bases loaded, bases clearing double. What do you remember about that series and beating up on the Detroit Tigers?
Well, we have one thing in our hitters meeting it wasn't about beating Verlander, Scherzer, and Price. It wasn't about beating them. It was about working the hell out of them, getting them out the damn game. They cannot, if they go into the 7th, 8th, then that's when, that means they've been smooth sailing. We have to get them out in the 5th, or we cannot allow them to get into that 7th inning. Because that's when pitchers like that just find that extra gear and say, well, I'm going 8 now. And what we did is we fought them. And we got to the bullpen, and we said, if we can get to the bullpen, we got them. And if you watch each game, besides game 3, because I think Cruz hit the home run in the right field off DP, and we won 2-1, I think. And yeah, besides that, we got Scherzer and Verlander. We got them out the game, and then we got into that bullpen, and we knew once we was like, okay, we get into the bullpen. I'm not bust them. And they had a good year. But we needed to get to that middle relief, and that was our plan, and we worked it out because you're not gonna slug, I should say, against Scherzer, Verlander, and Price. You're not just gonna sit there and slug. And if we got to Porcello and Sanchez, those are 2 other guys who are sinker ball guys. So we know we're not just gonna slug. So we just have to do just the small things. And our whole objective was work long at bats. Even if you get out, try and see 5-6 pitches per at bat.
Yeah, I will never forget being there. That play, Camden Yards was on another level that series. It was absolutely incredible. And then on to a much better memory for me. And it's a moment where I know I won't ever forget where I was when this happened. I know a lot of, especially Americans, won't ever forget when this happened. When you robbed Manny Machado, center field, in your home city in the World Baseball Classic. Won the game, eventually led to a World Baseball Classic championship for the United States. Talk about that moment, because I get chills just thinking about it, man. It was one of the coolest things. My brother and I were watching it spring training in Lakeland and went absolutely nuts. That was an awesome moment. Where does that rank for you in your career?
I mean, I think that has to just be up there in the top 5 for sure. But I mean, it might be just pushed back from number 1 because of what I just did on the turkey shot.
Turkey shot.
The turkey shot. I think that just moved up in just the scenario, having my kids there, like everything, like that was just like a career, like rap. But dude, I seen that ball hit. I know the sound. I've obviously shagged for Manny, played center while he's hit the ball. and just know when he crushes the ball. And he crushed that ball, and I just kept going. And, I just jumped. I caught it. I seen myself catch it. And I just blanked out, like, to myself, like, there's no way you just caught this ball. Obviously added some explicitives. And I'm just like, there's no way you just caught this ball. And then I reach into my glove, and I had the ball, and I'm like, what? And I'm just like, externally, I'm like, I don't know what I'm physically doing. Internally, I'm just like having this little conversation with myself, like, did you just do this too? You just caught this ball? What the? And then I just like caught myself, came back to life, and just was like, wow, that was sick. And then I got to watch the replay. I got to really watch the replay after the game because Cano was up, and and they were like, dude, that catch was sick. I'm like, damn. Okay.
I blacked out.
And then as you get older, you start to appreciate those kind of moments. And again, my kids get to see this kind of things, and they get to be like, yeah, that was you. Now, can I do that now? Nope. But back then I could, and they gotta recognize that.
Dude, unbelievable. What a cool career for you. It's different than anybody else's. And before I let you go, I have to ask, what's next for Adam Jones? And you may not even know, but you're an established big leaguer. You've gone over in Japan now. You've kind of done it all, and now your contract is up there. Yeah. What is next for Adam Jones?
Great question. I mean, I want to stay in shape just in case somebody call, some crazy bitch calls. You gotta be crazy. Just in case. You gotta stay in shape just in case. But I'm just seeing as it goes. I'm not pressed any short away. Again, I told you I'm tired. I'm tired of all that stuff, the stretching, and I'm tired of all of it. I'll miss the grass and the people. I would miss the stretching, the batting practice. I told you, none of it. Fungos, infield, none of that. But I don't know. I think, seeing what my wife has in plan. We got 2 young kids. Again, she has a travel company, accesstravel.com. And I think that we should just see what it goes. I mean, I'm not pressed anyway. I'm tired. I just want to relax. And let's go see some, she calls them site visits. Let's go to, Botswana, doing a site visit. Like, damn, let's go to South Africa, site visit.
Yeah.
Can we go back to Croatia? I'm like, we in Phoenix, site visit. We can get there. I'm like, oh, damn, okay. So, I think that'd be fun too. She's been holding me down, holding the family down, especially me for the last 10, 12 years. So, it might be her turn, or I say it might be my turn to just let her take the realms of the family and say, hey, my career is not dictating where we live. If she wants to go live somewhere else, let's go live somewhere else, because she is very open to that. And why not? I mean, young, our kids are young, the experience of living in a different culture, got a little bit of money. So,
well,
just chill.
Yeah, of course, man. And it's been a pleasure watching your career. If the turkey shot homer heard around the world is the end of it, it's quite the fitting way to write off, man. But thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. This has been awesome. Your career has been awesome to watch. And like I said earlier, I meant this. I became a big fan of you for you as a person, and then following your career along the way has been icing on top. So congratulations for everything. Good luck in the future, wherever it takes you. And thank you so much for joining me, man.
Appreciate it, my man. Appreciate it.
Of course. See ya. All right, and I wanted to thank Adam Jones for joining me. What an awesome conversation with an incredible athlete and an incredible guy. That was a lot of fun. This episode has been a lot of fun. The holiday special, so make sure you all enjoy the holidays. This has been another episode of Flippin' Bats. Make sure you guys subscribe, whether it be on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, wherever it may be. If it's on Apple, make sure you click that 5-star and leave a review. It really helps. Make sure you're following on all social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. The episode comes out via video on YouTube. We got all that good stuff. You can win this sick shirt. We were doing a giveaway there. Still a chance to win, but make sure you check all that out. And thank you all for listening. Enjoy the holidays, and I will see you next time on Flippin' Bats.